All right, today we're cracking open a book that might just change the way you think about everything you know about being healthy. It's Dr. David Agus's The End of Illness, and believe me, it's a bold title for a book with some even bolder ideas. Right off the bat, Dr. Agus hits us with a huge question. What if everything we're doing to stay healthy, taking our vitamins, going for that annual physical, all of it, is based on a completely outdated, even flawed model of the human body? So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to dive into the core arguments of this book, because the ideas in here could genuinely change how you approach your health, maybe starting tomorrow.
Okay, so to really get what the author is arguing, we have to start with this really stubborn paradox at the heart of modern medicine. I mean, think about it. Since the mid-20th century, we've seen absolutely mind-blowing progress. We've gotten so much better at treating so many diseases that used to be a death sentence. And just look at this. This chart shows a huge success story. Between 1950 and 2007, the death rates from heart disease and stroke just plummeted. We're talking a drop of 60 to 70%. That's a massive win for medicine.
But, and this is a huge but, when we turn our attention to another one of our biggest enemies, the picture looks completely different. And honestly, it's pretty shocking. This right here, this is the paradox. After decades of research, after billions and billions of dollars spent on the war on cancer, the death rate has barely budged. It is just a stubbornly, frustratingly flat line. And that brings us to the central question of the entire book. With all of our incredible technology, our brilliant scientists, our resources, why have we made so little progress? Why can't we seem to win this one war? So what's the deal? Well, Dr. Agus argues that the answer isn't a new drug or a new technology. The answer is that we've been thinking about the human body completely wrong. You see, for the last 100 years or so, medicine has operated on what's called the germ theory. And it's basically a warfare model, right? The goal is to find the bad guy, the virus, the bacteria, and then you develop a magic bullet to go in and destroy it. And that approach works wonders for infections, things that come from the outside. But here's the problem. Complex diseases like cancer, they aren't external invaders. They're an inside job. It's our own system going haywire. So the book proposes this huge shift in thinking. We need to move from that old germ theory model to a new systems view. Instead of seeing the body as a battlefield, we need to see it as a complex, dynamic system, kind of like an ecosystem, where the goal isn't to kill, but to maintain balance. And this quote he shares is just fantastic. He was advised by a Nobel Prize-winning physicist to think of cancer as a system. So the point is, we have to stop searching for that one magic bullet to kill a tumor. Instead, we have to start asking, how do we support the health of the entire system so that a tumor can't thrive in the first place? Now, when you start thinking this way, it totally changes what we should be paying attention to. It changes what we're even listening for when it comes to our health. And here's a really powerful idea. Cancer isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's not something your body gets, like a cold. It's something your body does when its internal checks and balances fail and the whole system just spirals into chaos. For a long time, to understand all this, we've looked at our DNA, but Dr. Agus uses a great analogy. He says your DNA is like the factory manual for your car. Sure, it's useful. It tells you how the car was built, what its potential problems are, but it can't tell you if you're about to run out of gas right now. The real language of health, he argues, is in our proteins. See, proteins are the car's live dashboard. They're the RPM gauge, the engine temperature, the flashing warning lights. They are the real-time conversation telling you exactly what is happening in your body, right this second. So what's the big deal here? Well, it's everything. It means we can shift from just managing a crisis after it happens to genuine prevention. If we can listen to this protein conversation, we might be able to spot those imbalances in the system long before they ever become a full-blown disease. Okay, so this is all great in theory, but how do we actually apply it? This is where the book gets really practical and argues for a radical shift toward personalized medicine, and it all starts with you. This might just be the most empowering message in the whole book. We have to become the CEOs of our own health. This is one job you just can't outsource. So what does that actually look like? Well, he breaks it down into 3 key steps. First, you have to know yourself. Establish your unique personal health baseline. Second, you track your data. You notice how that baseline changes over time. And third,
You partner with your doctor, using that information to have a much smarter, more data-driven conversation. And when he talks about establishing a baseline, he means really becoming a detective of your own body. You're tracking things you might have never thought of as health data. Do your socks leave marks on your ankles? How rested do you actually feel when you wake up? Each little thing is a clue, another data point in the incredibly complex system that is you.
And ultimately, this is the whole point. The goal isn't to chase some generic, one-size-fits-all definition of what it means to be healthy. It's about using self-awareness and your own data to define, create, and maintain what healthy looks and feels like for you. So, the end of illness really leaves us with that powerful final thought. It shifts the focus away from just doctors and drugs and puts it right back on the one person who's truly in charge of managing your system, you. The real question is, how are you going to start listening to your body's conversation?